Ladies and gentlemen, every operating system has vulnerabilities and security holes. Today we're going to take a look at Linux, and we're going to take a look at a couple vulnerabilities hidden back in there. Here to show us how to lock down Linux is a real-life cracker, hacker, explorer. What do you like to be called? Honest Abe. I know that's your code name. Obviously we have him masked, disguised his face to protect his identity. Welcome back to the show, Abe. Now, what are we gonna look at? I thought Linux was the secure, the happy operating system.
Well, I'm going to demonstrate two different ways that you can backdoor a Linux or Unix machine and how to protect against them, and also talk about another patch to fix buffer overflows.
Quick question, when you say backdoor, do you mean like some secret hole in the back of the operating system you can sneak into? Or?
Well, it's a method that hackers use to place a Trojan binary or a method to get back into a system after they've compromised it.
We usually think of Microsoft operating systems when we think of security vulnerabilities. Are there that many holes open in Linux?
Yes.
Uh-oh.
It's like that with any operating system.
Okay. So where should we start?
First, I'm going to demonstrate a libpam backdoor. What libpam is a pluggable authentication mechanism. It's a shared library that has that programs can call to authenticate users, and it just calls.
So this is a normal part of Linux that would go into any installation.
Yes.
Okay.
So what I've done is I've modified the PAM Unix module.
Would you have to have access to the machine to do this?
I'd have to be root to replace it. So what I've done is I've written a backdoor into it so that if I type in the password R00T, it will authenticate me. Else it will log to a file the username and password that was entered. So I have my PAM Unix, and I've already built it. I want to save the file time on the old Unix pamunix.so, which is the module that it uses for basic password authentication, by doing a touch -R. And then I want to copy
So ladies and gentlemen, he actually is establishing a backdoor inside this system. Let's say you were setting up an internet company. You set up the servers, you might want to put something a little there. Maybe you could come back there if you were fired or laid off. This is the kind of thing you want to look at. Not that we know anyone who's ever done that here in San Francisco, California, or New York, or North Jersey. But what's coming up next?
Well, now I'm restoring the file time. So the file, minus the size difference, looks unmodified.
So basically, when somebody would look over this, perhaps the regular administrator, they wouldn't notice any difference.
Yes.
Okay.
So what I'm going to do is as user nobody to, all right, then I'm going to try out the backdoor. So if I do su root, and then I enter in my password R00T, it authenticates me.
Wow.
But if I log in as root with the regular password, I see that it's logged the password to the log file. So you see that in module PAM Unix, it logged the root password as dog.
So how do I keep somebody from setting up a backdoor like this?
You can do it by checksumming the binaries on disk when you first install, or once you've got the machine set up and you know that it hasn't been compromised. There's a piece of software called Samhain, which goes through and looks at the file and then checksums it, looks at the file times and dates and ownership, and then creates a database. And every so often it checks them.
Okay.
And verifies that nothing's been modified.
Is Samhain something you download from Freshmeat or other sites on the web?
Freshmeat should have it. I gave a link, so it should be on the website.
Good point. Go to thescreensavers.com. What am I saying? So we have St. Michael. What's that all about?
Well, next I'm going to demonstrate loadable kernel module hacking.
Okay.
The Linux kernel is designed so that you can dynamically load and unload pieces of the kernel as modules. So
in Windows, you'd have to completely reinstall the operating to do this kind of stuff. Shut down the machine.
Actually, this is just the device drivers. You can do this in Windows as well. So what I've got is I've got a basic module that I'm going to load, and it doesn't do anything other than load itself. You can check the modules that are loaded on a machine by typing, I loaded that with int-mod, and you can check the modules that are loaded with ls-mod, and you see that simple is loaded. And then I can remove it with rm-mod. So I've written other modules which demonstrate how to hook system calls, which system calls are programs interfaced to the kernel. And so when it switches over into kernel mode, the kernel performs actions set up by the program, like opening a file or changing directory. So here's a demonstration of hooking the change directory system call. So now if I change directory, it demonstrates, or it shows that I've, changed directory.
Very cool. What's the last one?
And as part of the system call catching, you can actually do anything you want with this. So a hacker could make it so that they could hide files, hide processes, network connections. And then, so the problem before is that you could see the module in the list. So there's a simple way that you can remove a module from the list by finding all pointers to it and then removing it. So, and my code's loaded.
Very nice. We got to cut out. We're running out of time. But, folks, ladies and gentlemen, Abe has given us some awesome links to explain these holes, how to patch them, and some great sites that you can keep basically keep an eye on Linux security and learn a lot more. You can find those at thescreensavers.com. Abe, thank you once again for coming back to the Screensavers. Now, folks, stay where you are. Still to come on this very show. Kat shows us all the things you can sculpt with butter. What? In this side of the night. Plus, audiophiles Chris Kosak teaches us how to make some noise with sound effects, THX, Dolby, DTS, what kind of sound quality, what's all this stuff mean when you're buying a DVD? We're going to tell you when the Screensavers rolls on.